welcome to Bonita's Kitchen, and what I'm going to be making for you today is Newfoundland variety pastry tarts, and better known in Newfoundland as Tarties. The reason why I'm calling them variety is because I'm going to be putting different fillings in each one. We'll get started now on making our pastry. Okay, so what we're going to be using is 1 cup of flour. You could use white flour or all wheat. I'm going to be using 1/4 cup of chopped cold butter, and cold butter is the key to this pastry. 1/2 teaspoonful of salt, and if your butter is salted, well, don't use the salt. You could have it without it. So mix all of this together, of course, with your hands. I'm making a batch that would make between 8 and 10 tarts. If you want to make more tarts than that, you can just double this recipe. So keep pinching all the butter into the flour until it's blended, and then we'll add the water. Okay, so now that we got the butter blended into our flour mixture, I'm going to be putting 3 tablespoonfuls of cold water, which is about 1/4 cup. So mix all of this together until it forms a ball. Okay, so now that I got a ball formed, I'm going to take this bowl away, and I'm going to put flour on my countertop because I want to flour up this, because I'm going to be rolling this out. We're going to be putting these cutouts into our muffin pan. Okay, so now we got the dough put here on the counter. We're going to be rolling it. I'm just going to put a bit of flour on my rolling pin. So just roll it each way and keep flipping it over, because you want to make it as thin as possible. Because remember, this is a pastry and it's going to go flaky. Our butter, cold butter, is the key to making a good pastry, of course. And we don't need very big cutouts. What I got for a cutout is the top of a lid from a mason jar, and it makes it perfect to fit into my muffin pan to make the pastry. All right, so this is good. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of flour on this here so it don't stick to my pastry, and we're going to start cutting out each one. Okay, so it don't necessarily got to be even cutouts, but about this thin, and then put each piece into your muffin pan. You don't need to stuff it in, because it'll definitely make its own spot once it starts to bake. So we'll continue doing that with all of them. Okay, so we're going to cut out the last one for that pan, and again it's this thin, and we're going to put it right in. So our next step now, what we're going to be doing is making little tops for our pastries. I'll just put this one to the side, and out of these little pieces that, of course, you could ball up and continue making it, I want to make a little diagram for the top of it, so to just jazz it up a little bit when you put your filling into the pastry. So just take again your lid and make kind of like little half moons, whatever shape you want to make. Continue doing that. You could put it into shape of a heart, you could do it into a circle, or just little half moons. It doesn't matter. Basically what I'm doing here is I'm going to bake that in the oven with my pastries, and we're going to use it for the top of them. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we're going to put the muffin pans with our pastry in it and our cutouts in the oven on a 350 degrees for 15 minutes. When you take it out, let it cool for a couple of minutes, maybe 5 minutes or so. Take them out of the pans. What I'm going to do now is put them in the oven, and then meet me back here. Okay, welcome back to Bonita's Kitchen. So I have a dozen or so pastries that I've already got made, and the tops, of course, I was saying to put them into shapes of hearts or half moons, whichever is nice and decorative for you. So what we're going to do now, again, I have prepared a vanilla custard or vanilla pudding. You can do an instant whip. I did a whipped cream. I got some dates, partridge jam, and I got some blueberry jam that I've already made prior to. And again, all of these things is posted on Bonita's Kitchen if you need to know how to make date or jams. So I'm just going to take a couple of tarts and I'll show you what I'm going to do when I say variety tarts. I'm going to make blueberry one. So I'm just going to put a small bit of blueberry on the side, a little bit of vanilla custard onto it, and I'm going to take some of my whipped cream and garnish to the top like this. And I'm going to take one of my decorations and just put onto them, and this is what we got. There's a little masterpiece. So I'm going to continue on doing this. I'm going to make some date and some partridge ones, and we'll continue making them, and I'll show you all of them. So remember, you could use whatever filling is good for you. I like these fillings because, like you said, date and berries is all, you know, you're also kind of your taste. So continue on doing that. And the reason why, again, I said variety is because this way, not everybody likes the same tarts. You could have a lemon tart, you could make cream cheese, you know, you get creative with it. But again, this pastry, you pretty well can do anywhere from tarties with berries in it, or to making a quiche, putting egg and baking it in the oven. But this is not a big tart. Once you do the pastry, you don't need to bake it again. You just serve it like that. You can make this pastry in advance. You could freeze it for when you need to use it another time. But again, I'll post all of this on Bonita's Kitchen. Remember that it's 350 degrees of heat, only for 15 minutes, because you don't want your tarts to burn, and they'll be kind of golden brown when they come out. They're very small. If you want them bigger, you can have a bigger cutout, and again, you can double the batch as you need it. I hope this was helpful for you, and please try it. Variety Pastry Tarts, again known as Tarties in Newfoundland. Thank you for joining me once again for Bonita's Kitchen, and you have a wonderful day.